Hey everyone, welcome back, focused learners. We've got an absolutely critical explainer for you today covering a wild, incredibly dynamic weekend in the AI space. I mean, the developments from just this past weekend, July 11th and 12th, 2026, they represent a monumental shift. We're talking major legal flashpoints, staggering technical breakthroughs, and literally structural changes to the global economy that are accelerating way faster than almost anyone predicted. The stakes for this industrial AI synthesis, they honestly couldn't be higher. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. $730 billion. Take a second to just wrap your head around that number. That is the targeted valuation for OpenAI's massive looming IPO, which we're expecting as early as September. They're reportedly drawing up confidential registration documents with Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley right now. But a valuation of that insane magnitude, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. Actually, it's actively setting the stage for some incredible corporate drama that we literally saw erupt this very weekend.
Which brings us to corporate wars and IPOs. This is really the first chapter of our stakes escalation arc today, and it's all about the ferocious, high-stakes battle for hardware talent. So, on July 11th, Apple fired a massive opening salvo. They filed a federal lawsuit against OpenAI out in Northern California, accusing them of massive trade secret theft and the coordinated poaching of over 400 former Apple employees. Now, what's absolutely crucial here is who was poached. The complaint highlights senior departures targeting hardware design, custom chip architecture, and on-device AI teams. They specifically named figures like Tang Tan, the former VP of product design, and Cheng Lu. You might be wondering, why does this matter to us? Well, these are the senior architects designing the hardware and custom chips for the very devices sitting in your pocket right now. As OpenAI approaches a $730 billion IPO, holding the keys to hardware intelligence and upcoming consumer AI devices is absolutely vital. And Apple? They clearly see this as a direct threat to their proprietary hardware ecosystem.
Okay, moving from boardroom drama to models breaking mathematical boundaries. Let's slow down for just a second to really appreciate the gravity of the tech leaps actually justifying these massive valuations in the first place.
For over half a century, the cycle double cover conjecture has stood as this massive, unsolved challenge in graph theory. Generations of mathematicians have tried and failed to formally prove it. Well, this weekend, OpenAI's newly launched GPT-5.6 Sol Ultra model successfully generated a proof for this 50-year-old problem. And the crazy part, it didn't take years of computing. The model executed the proof in under an hour. This isn't just regurgitating information. This is a machine generating net new human knowledge. Now, formal human peer review is still pending, but early reactions from the math community are noting that the approach is deeply, deeply intriguing.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how next-gen AI is moving way beyond simple text generation and into complex, structured reasoning. The model didn't use magic, it used agentic orchestration. It deployed a highly optimized prompt structure, coordinating 64 concurrent AI subagents. It forced these agents, working in parallel, to manage complex algebraic formulations, and then ran rigorous internal peer review loops to double-check each other's work before spitting out the final proof. We're literally breaking down AI magic into a measurable, step-by-step process.
But, OpenAI isn't operating in a vacuum here. The competition is incredibly intense, and Google is definitely feeling the heat. This weekend, the general availability launch date for Google's highly anticipated Gemini 3.5 Pro leaked. July 17th, 2026. After missing that June deadline, Google is dropping this model right smack in the middle of the most competitive week in AI history. Literally sandwiched just 5 days after GPT 5.6 and 9 days after xAI's Grok 4.5. And Google is bringing massive firepower to this launch. 2 million. That is Gemini 3.5 Pro's massive context window. This means it can hold and analyze entire libraries of books in its working memory, all at a single time, effectively doubling its nearest competitors. The leaked specs also reveal a dedicated deep think mode and highly aggressive API pricing, positioned at roughly $1.25 per million input tokens. This fast-paced technological arms race is driving costs down while just completely shattering compute boundaries. Speaking of rapid fire, let's just rattle off the sheer volume of software breakthroughs that all happened simultaneously this weekend. Anthropic shifted its flagship Claude Fable 5 entirely to a usage-based credit system. Meanwhile, third-party devs shipped Claude Code Desktop, which lets it operate as a full sandbox OS agent with direct terminal execution. Over at Mistral, they rolled out Mistral 1.5, which guarantees flawless software code via formal mathematical verification. OpenAI launched ChatGPT Work, natively embedding codecs into a desktop app to directly compete with Anthropic.
And perhaps most impactfully for the internet itself, Google quietly completed its multi-year transition, shifting core Google search to be fully AI-generated. In a single weekend, the basic mechanics of how we interact with software and the web fundamentally changed. Now, software is clearly advancing at light speed, but these virtual models are entirely bound by physical constraints. Let's transition to the physical silicon arms race and look at the massive physical infrastructure powering all of this. Now, what's really interesting here is the staggering, eye-watering scale of physical infrastructure required to compete. It's literally rewriting the global economy. Qualcomm is in early-stage talks to acquire the open architecture startup Tenstorrent for up to $10 billion to directly challenge NVIDIA's chip dominance. Meta, they're dropping $10 billion on a massive 1 gigawatt data center in Alberta, while simultaneously pushing their custom backend Iris chip into full factory production at TSMC this September. And SambaNova just closed a $1 billion Series F funding round to challenge NVIDIA in the AI inference market. The physical footprint of AI is fundamentally reshaping industrial real estate and semiconductor manufacturing globally. And that physical race, it's aggressively accelerating straight into humanoid robotics. The models are getting bodies. 3 major players made massive moves this weekend to access public market capital. Agility Robotics is preparing a $2.5 billion SPAC merger, which is essentially a fast-track method to take the company public. Unitry filed paperwork for a Shanghai IPO. And remarkably, Tesla is taking the dramatic step of retooling an entire Model S assembly line to serve as a dedicated production facility for its Optimus humanoid robot. It is absolutely awe-inspiring to realize that these brilliant cognitive models we just talked about are now being placed directly into robotic bodies on our assembly lines. With cognitive models solving 50-year-old math problems and gaining physical bodies, we need to zoom out a bit. Let's look at the global economy and regulation and the massive reactions taking place worldwide. State and global institutions are seriously scrambling to react to the sheer speed of these advancements. In an unprecedented move in the U.S., the Federal Reserve appointed venture capitalist Mark Andreessen to co-lead a task force evaluating how automated workflows are going to alter structural employment and productivity. Over in Europe, a sweeping mandate just took effect requiring all newly manufactured vehicles to have AI driver distraction systems built in. Meanwhile, at the UN summit in Geneva, independent scientific panels issued urgent warnings regarding automated disinformation, even calling it an information Armageddon. And on the workforce development side, Google launched a dedicated applied AI lab in Ghana to support African researchers, while Anthropic rolled out Claude Core, which is a paid fellowship placing early career tech talent straight into nonprofits. Naturally, as these systems deploy globally, safety watchdogs are sounding alarms. The Future of Life Institute released its mid-2026 AI Safety Index this weekend, and they accused all the major frontier labs of actively moving their safety evaluation goalposts in order to rush advanced models to market. In their report, FLI graded Anthropic at a C+ and flat-out stated that XAI was failing its baseline safety metrics. But the warnings aren't just about safety, they are deeply economic. Taiwan's central bank chief issued a stark, highly public warning this weekend regarding global AI bubble risks. The chief specifically cautioned financial institutions about the vulnerability of capital overconcentration strictly into raw compute infrastructure, especially amidst broader macroeconomic adjustments. Essentially, they're warning that if this hardware bubble pops, the global financial fallout could be severe. So the absolutely crucial point we are left with today is this. We are witnessing the real-time collision of software capable of profound agentic reasoning and the deployment of hundreds of billions of dollars in physical infrastructure and robotics. As these cognitive breakthroughs converge with massive physical scale, how will this completely reshape the future of human labor? And how do we even begin to prepare for the systemic global risks that come with it? It's a high-stakes question we all need to be considering right now. Thank you, focused learners, for joining me on this essential explainer synthesis. It is so vital to stay informed as this technology just continues to accelerate. So please make sure to subscribe to the AI Vanguard to stay at the absolute cutting edge of industrial AI. And hey, if you found this synthesis valuable, drop a like, leave a comment, and share it with others who need to understand these massive shifts. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.